Hello and welcome to another episode of PodcastDX, the show that brings you interviews with people just like you whose lives are forever changed by a medical diagnosis. I'm Lita. Ron is not with us today. Jean's got a headache over there.
And I'm Jean Marie. Sorry, I just put my head down for a second.
Okay, collectively we're the hosts of PodcastDX. On today's show, we're talking with Evelyn Morales. She's joining us today from Texas to talk about her extraordinary journey of healing.
Hi, Evelyn.
Hello.
Hello.
How are y'all doing?
Doing well, thank you. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic.
Excellent.
Evelyn, my mother has been following you on Facebook, and she has, nothing but admiration for your strength and determination. But our listeners may not know much about you. Could you start us off by telling us a little bit about your background information? I guess maybe start at the beginning. We did see one article that you sent us from 2007, and I guess if you can catch us up.
Well, the article was from 2019. I actually made the new craze is the whole TikTok. I did kind of a weight loss transformation type video. I was encouraged by other people, so I kind of did that. But I was just kind of posting my weight loss transformation, and it kind of got some attention. But it kind of comes back to, I had to, deal with the weight gain that I did, that happened. But I've always been, overweight. Even when I was a younger teen, I never kind of hit that ideal BMI and things like that. And I had to deal with, thyroid problems, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and, the everyday type overweight type issues. After having my daughter, it kind of catapulted from there.
And when you had your daughter, is that when you got the diagnosis of hypothyroidism?
Yes, thyroid does run in my family, so I wasn't too knowledgeable of, that it was something that maybe I had an issue with, and I had never actually asked my doctor about it until I started having issues that it kind of just started packing on. I never been one to overeat or eat too much, but when I noticed that even after I had my daughter, because during my pregnancy, my weight was still, I maintained it. I didn't overgain too much. But after I had her, I did kind of gain a lot of weight, and it kind of just kept adding on and adding on. But then I started having a lot more problems. So they started noticing more issues, and that's when they tested me and they found out that my thyroid was an issue.
Okay. All right. And then when did your next diagnosis come into play?
As she got older, I had other issues to where I even as a teen, I had suffered a lot with seizures, but they were always misdiagnosed. They would always tell my mom that I was overstressed as a teen. I was very active. I played a lot of sports. So they never paid attention to the seizures. They said that was just misdiagnosed. Well, then I started suffering with headaches and migraines and more seizures as I got older. So when I had the diagnosis of the thyroid, and then with the high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and things like that, I started having these dizzy spells and these neck pains and these pains down my spine and these burning sensations in my neck, into my head. And it came as I got older. I had an incident back in 2017. At this time I was married, and it was me, my daughter, and my stepson at the time. We were at home, and we we're just there. We happen to, well, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm kind of jumping
That's
fast
okay.
forward a little bit
That's
too much.
okay. That's all right. That's all right.
Because I kind of don't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
On New Year's, before 2017, on New Year's, I had happened to fall down and I fell down, but those were the symptoms I had been having.
Right.
But they had kept, just saying, they kept telling me I was overweight. So that's why I was having those symptoms from,
Okay.
but it finally all made sense after I had this incident happen. On New Year's, I fell and I hit my head.
Okay.
Then is when it came, a couple of weeks later that my daughter and I and my stepson at the time, we were home alone. And I just felt this jolt of pain, and it felt like somebody had hit me in the back of the head with a baseball bat.
Oh.
I had lost all control of my bowels and everything. I lost my vision, and I didn't want to scare my kids, and my husband at the time, he wasn't home. He was still at work. So I had told him, I was trying to tell the kids to, hey, y'all come with me to the living room. At the time, I was holding on to the wall from the hallway and I was walking myself. And at this time, I couldn't see nothing. I was walking and I was kind of trying to keep myself calm and collected. And I had urinated on myself. I was trying to keep as calm as possible until I finally sat down and I told the kids, you need to call your dad. I can't see anything. So I finally get to the hospital. Well, actually, when the EMS got there, I couldn't still see anything. They transferred me from the local hospital to the hospital in San Antonio. And that's when they told me, well, we can't figure out what's wrong. And at that point, they finally admitted me, and I spent about a week in the hospital, and they had to do a lumbar puncture. They ran so many different tests, and that's when I was diagnosed with Chiari Malformation. And they finally told me, well, collectively, all the symptoms you've been suffering from all these years is now connected to Chiari Malformation.
Okay. It's like a big aha moment, huh?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, any thyroid problem, that's a rough diagnosis to handle in itself. And I know you're taking medicines now to take care of that condition, but your weight gain from the thyroid was putting a lot of stress on your heart and lungs, so it was probably difficult for them to diagnose any other problems, right?
So thank goodness for your head injury.
I'm just thinking it might have been a blessing in disguise.
Yes.
I mean, you never want to say that, but yeah.
Right? I mean, because they might have just passed it all off as well. Maybe it's so I'm glad that you got to the bottom of that.
Yes, and Lita has a little prop over there.
Okay, so to start us out, I'm going to explain to our listeners a little bit about what Chiari is, all right?
Once upon a time.
Here's my story, all right? We have discovered Chiari before. My daughter Jean had Chiari, so that's... We actually had an episode on this, but it's a condition where and here's my little prop, part of the brain, which is the bottom part of the brain here, which is the cerebellum, okay?
And that sits the farthest to the back of the skull.
To the back of the skull and farthest down.
And then there's cerebellar tonsils, which are not the tonsils in your throat.
No, this little section of brain material right down here.
Right.
And in most cases, a person that has Chiari malformation also has a little bit too squished of a brain, of a cranium, of a skull.
But the hole at the bottom of the cranium could be too big.
Or the skull can be too tight.
Yes.
And the pressure from that all pushes this little piece of brain down into, I'm going to take the brain out right now. Okay. I'm going to do a brain surgery.
Okay.
All right. It pushes the brain down in here where, I'm going to use a pen, where the spinal cord is supposed to go, okay? The only thing that's supposed to be in here is your spinal cord. And unfortunately for people with Chiari, part of your brain goes down here too. All right, now I'm going to put the prop down and continue reading. The skull is a hard, bony surface. It doesn't give to anything. It's very solid, right?
Once you're grown.
Right, once you're grown. And then in order to keep that brain safe, there's fluid, cerebral spinal fluid, or CSF.
It's like the body's bubble wrap.
Yes, body's bubble wrap is perfect. And it flows all the way around the brain to protect it.
It also provides nutrients and waste removal, but yeah.
Okay, all right. When the fluid can't move around freely because your brain is too squished inside of that skull, if you have a Chiari malformation, it will block the spinal fluid. And when you had your spinal tap, that's one thing that they were checking on. So in order to repair this, what they do is they cut a piece of the skull out of the back of the head, and they put
like a little hammock.
A hammock? Okay,
Yeah.
a little hammock, a little piece of material over that patch to patch it up, because you can't have a hole in the back of your head, brains fall out. They put a patch over there, but it gives a little bit. So now your brain has a chance to move a little bit more. The fluid can get around everything. It's a lot easier on you. It'll reduce the headaches, the neck pain, all of that. The dizziness.
And that was Lita's story time.
That was Lita's story time. Right. But your story now. So you needed that life-saving surgery.
Yes.
What happened?
Well, from what I was told, is they had suggested the decompression surgery.
Yep.
They told me that I would have to be under 200 pounds in order for me to have the surgery.
Okay.
At that time, I weighed 498 pounds.
Okay. So
I was the heaviest I had ever been.
Okay.
Wow. They told me that it would be life risking if they even attempted to do the surgery on me at that time. So I was mortified. They told me, you can stay the way you are and just go ahead and try to lose the weight as you can gradually, do diets and, eat healthy, change your lifestyle. So I did. I tried my best. I tried so many different diets. I tried so many different meal plans. I tried so many different things, and I still suffered with a lot of the pain. I couldn't move. I would go to the grocery store and I would have to use the electric carts to get around. It would take me a long time to walk just to get groceries or to shop. I hadn't been to a mall in so many years. At that time, my daughter was still very young, so we hadn't gone to the mall or actually shopped at our local grocery store in a very, very long time. So it was a lot of the little joys of life that had been taken away from me. And not only that, but just the fact of seeing people that would just see me and think, she eats, unhealthy, or she eats like 2 huge pizzas or 6 burgers. And that wasn't even, true.
Right. But by this point, you're already on the thyroid medicine.
Yes.
It's just that you have to try to get rid of the weight that the thyroid put on you over the years.
So by that point, and at this time, I was very, I love myself no matter what. I have always had that positive attitude. No matter what skin I'm in, no matter what body shape I'm in, I'm always going to love myself. And that's one thing I've always spread was body positivity, because you have to love yourself no matter what. So I finally said and decided, I'm going to finally do something, because I couldn't continue with being in this horrible pain anymore. But I had to suffer with having to go through all of that. So they finally told me, you're going to have to make a decision, either to stay with going through all the pain or weight loss surgery.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And what options did they offer you in terms of weight loss surgery?
I spoke to a bariatric surgeon, and he gave me so many different options. He let me know, either the sleeve or the sleeve with the dual switch.
Mm-hmm.
And he let me know, in my case as a patient, the sleeve would be a good option, but the sleeve with the dual switch, knowing that I had the thyroid, and
Mm-hmm.
thyroid does cause you to carry on a lot of weight, it would kind of prolong the process and probably wouldn't have a good success.
Okay.
So he recommended the dual switch along with the sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the option that I went with.
Okay. And how was that procedure?
They could do that safely?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
It was very successful. I went through a 6-month process, approval process. He wanted to make sure if I was going to be able to lose some weight on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't gain any more weight within that 6-month process. I had to be able to lose at least, 60 pounds within that 6-month process.
Oh.
And I wasn't serious about it because I was kind of skeptical. I wasn't too positive in myself at the time because I knew with Chiari Malformation, I was very limited on exercising and working out because of the pain I was in.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't take it serious.
Okay.
And he finally told me, he goes, you know what? He goes, I won't do the surgery on you, the weight loss surgery. He goes, if you're not going to take it serious. And I told him, you know what, to be honest, I'm terrified of failing because I don't want to do the weight loss surgery and I'm not succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me, don't worry about that. All I want you to do is learn how to eat healthy and the rest will do itself. He goes, you never have to work out. And that's exactly what I did.
Oh.
I had to reteach myself to have a new relationship with food, eat healthy, do a low carb meal plan, and do sugar free.
Okay.
And I had to reteach myself. And I have been very, very successful at losing the weight and keeping it off.
And 60 pounds in 6 months. I mean, that's
lot.
Asking an awful lot because
a lot.
I mean, they say you lose about 2 pounds a week,
especially
and so
if you can't work out.
Oh my gosh.
Even if you could work out
several hours a day, it would still be very challenging. So yeah, wow. And yeah, like you said, with Chiari, it made it even harder. And then also just having the kids around because I can't.
Yes.
I mean, it's challenging.
How old were your children at this time?
At this time, I believe they were about 9, 10, around that age.
Okay.
Well, although your diet changes have to help and improve their health as well.
Right.
So that's nice.
Yeah. It helps everybody. We just did an interview recently on processed food addiction.
Which
marvelous.
We haven't given up our processed foods yet. But boy, are we addicted.
What an amazing person that is. I mean, eye-opening. But it was your story that you were just explaining that drew me to your Facebook feed, Evelyn. The strength and determination that a person has to have to make major life changes like that for their health is something that I admire and support wholeheartedly.
And are hoping to, I cannot think of the word right now.
Follow.
Yes, follow, but not that it wasn't follow.
Mimic?
No, not mimic. We'll break out a thesaurus in a moment. But Evelyn, I know you shared your journey on different social media platforms, and you're an inspiration to many of us out there.
Yes.
But I'm still going to ask, can you share, do you have before and after pics for our listeners that we can post as well?
Yes, I absolutely do.
All right,
I do share a lot on my Instagram and my Facebook and my TikTok.
Okay. And how much weight was your goal? How much did you want to lose? And how long did it take you to lose that weight?
My goal actually was 200 pounds because that's what I needed to be at for the weight loss. Well, for my brain surgery. That was my ultimate goal. But once I hit the 200 pounds, other factors came to play and I was not able to get my brain surgery until later on. So I actually ended up having to get all the other surgeries due to health reasons. I ended up having to get a pacemaker put in that ended up putting a stop to me getting the brain surgery. And then I had to get, I actually found out that I was born with another rare disorder. It's called a wandering spleen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yes. And
wow.
they told me, the surgeon told me I was patient 501 when he put it in the books.
Wow.
I didn't
Wow.
know about that. So that put another hold onto the brain surgery. So we had to reschedule it again. Then when we rescheduled when we scheduled the pacemaker, the first time, I actually had to find a second cardiologist because the first one had placed the first one in correctly.
Oh.
So I've actually had two pacemakers put in, and I've had to do several revisions because due to the weight loss surgery, um, I have a lot of excess excess skin.
Mm-hmm.
Have a lot of elasticity in my skin.
Mm-hmm.
It's going from almost 500 pounds to what I weigh now. I don't have the tightness in my skin to
Mhm.
hold it in place.
Sure,
Mhm.
sure.
So the pacemaker kind of moves around,
Okay.
Okay.
and they've had to keep having to readjust it to hold it in place.
Okay.
I actually just had a pacemaker put in.
2 weeks ago?
Yes.
I mean, amazing.
Wow.
And look at her.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
They were gonna put it, I don't know the exact term for it, but
Mhm.
I know they were gonna put it in like internally, like
Mhm.
into my chest,
Yes.
Mhm.
to try to keep it from moving around, but we were not able to do that.
Okay.
There was a couple of complications, so he kind of just had to stitch it kind of in place so
Okay.
it in hopes that it doesn't move.
Okay.
Okay.
We had some complications with my blood pressure and my heart rate dropping.
Yeah.
So we're still hoping for the best that we don't have to go back in and do any more adjustments to it.
Okay.
But it's all in God's hands, and I always stay with a positive attitude. It just maybe it wasn't time yet for any more adjustments to be done,
Right.
but I'm always hopeful and ready, and I'm always ready to become bionic. I joke about it.
Sure. One piece at a time, right?
Mhm.
Right. So,
Yes.
do you still have the sleeve in place? Or did they take the
Yes.
sleeve off? Okay, so the sleeve stays there? And the sleeve is basically a band around the stomach, basically?
No. What they do is they remove 75% of my stomach.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yes. So my stomach is like a little pouch and it's the shape of a banana.
Okay.
Aw.
So that and what I do is I kind of if I want to maintain my weight, I kind of want to stay within a certain amount of weight. I just
Mhm.
kind of reset it and I'll kind of go on a fast for about a week just to kind of maintain my weight. But I'm very strict with keeping myself accountable on what I eat and how I eat and keep myself very structured. So
From
it's
the pictures that I've seen on Facebook, you look like you're a tremendous chef.
yes, I still love to eat my meat and potatoes, but I try to incorporate a lot of my veggies and a lot of everything in there. I still have my daughter at home that she loves to eat as well. So I got to make sure I keep her in tip top shape and
Sure.
eating. So yes, I love steak, shrimp, and potatoes and my mixed vegetables. So yes, I love to post my food.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that. And you've already had the Chiari surgery now, right?
Yes. Now that I'm below 200, I finally have bypassed my goal weight.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, my recent weight is 162 pounds. I
Wow.
Yes,
yes.
congratulations. Hopefully we're not killing Dominic's ears. Okay.
Yep.
I had my weight loss surgery in 2018. So it has taken me a little bit to get there, but it's taken me almost a little over 3 years.
Okay.
But like I said, other health factors came into play,
Of
and
course, of
my
course.
autoimmune system kind of hasn't worked for me. But I'm finally at a past my goal weight, and I'm at 162 right now.
Okay, great. Did they have to do any cosmetic surgery to remove that excess skin then?
I have not done that. Those are my plans later on. I'm hope to do it later. I know the insurance does not cover it. I haven't looked into it too much, so I'm not too sure.
Okay.
But it's something that if it doesn't happen, it's like my scars. I see
Mm-hmm.
them as my story.
Mm-hmm.
So I do get asked a lot when I go to the grocery stores, and it becomes a topic, and
Mm-hmm.
it becomes inspiration to other
Yes.
people, to where I'm able to talk to them and let them know about my story, and
Mm-hmm.
it it becomes something
Right,
to
right.
let them know and encourage someone else.
Absolutely, absolutely. Are there some days that are better than others?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Good.
And I go and I shoot out the door and I hit the trails, or I go and I get out of town and I go visit family and I get off the sofa, or some days I deep clean my whole house.
Wow,
Wow.
wow. So now that the Chiari is repaired and the pacemaker's implanted and the weight is gone, there are very little restrictions on your activities, or
I am still very restricted. I try not to keep restrictions on myself. I try to push my limit a little bit, but when I know I have overdone myself, I give myself a break and I
sure.
allow myself to recuperate
Okay.
for a couple of days. I'm still like every Chiari patient, we're not allowed to, or at least we're not supposed to, carry over, a certain amount of
Right,
weight.
right.
Mm-hmm.
We're not supposed to be lifting things heavy or
Mm-hmm.
bending over certain ways.
Yep.
But if people go and look on my TikTok and on my Facebook and my Instagram, I do lift sandbags. I work out with sandbags. I go to the
Wow.
gym. So, like, so many people tell me, you're not supposed to be doing this because, you just had, this done. Chiari's going to flare up. And I tell them, I understand, but I still got to keep pushing and keep
Mm-hmm.
pursuing and keep building my body and keep moving.
Right.
So you found your balance.
You found your
Yeah.
balance, which is
Yes.
excellent. Excellent.
Yes.
And I have a question. Evelyn, how do they monitor your thyroid medication and make sure that you're on the right dosage?
I go every 6 months to a year.
Okay.
My doctor, she checks me and she makes sure everything's exactly the way it's supposed to be.
Okay.
And so far, everything's been good.
That's fantastic.
Good.
I'm glad to hear, that's on an even keel.
Mm-hmm.
And just to switch gears up a little bit here, what do you think has been the most difficult part of having multiple chronic health conditions during the pandemic?
I would say I don't think much, because
Okay.
I've always loved being a homebody.
Mm-hmm.
So
Good.
being able to stay home
Right.
Mhm.
It's good, right?
and not having visitors
Right.
at
Mhm.
times is good.
Yeah.
So when the shutdown kind of happened, it was kind of a blessing in disguise for people that don't like to be bothered at times.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I'm right
Did
there
you have
with
to
you.
homeschool during the lockdown?
Yes.
Okay.
We were blessed to have, we actually live about a block away from our school. So we were actually blessed to have the school that was able to apply, allow our kids to do remote learning.
Mm-hmm.
So they were able to help us out with the remote learning for our kids and the students and our district and everything. So it was very, very easy. They made that very easy for all of us.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Are you?
And I was just also wondering about same thing with the pandemic. Has it been more challenging? I mean, like, you just had a pacemaker put in.
Mhm.
Was that whole process more challenging because of everything that was going on with COVID-19?
It really kind of was. I know a lot of my family and a lot of my friends, especially a lot of people on my social media, since I do share a lot
Mm-hmm.
about my health issues, they were concerned a lot about me going out in public,
Mm-hmm.
making sure I wasn't exposing myself, make sure I was covered. At first, I was happy that I was home and that I wasn't out and about and around people. But then when it did come down to me having to get out, I had to make sure I had gloves on. I have HS. So when it comes to using hand sanitizers, it burns my hands on
Oh.
Oh,
my skin.
oh,
So I had to wear gloves.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when it came to the mask, it would kind of irritate my face a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So I had to find different makes of masks.
yep,
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of did. And I noticed that it would affect my heart rate as well, putting on the mask for a long period of time.
Okay.
But my family and my friends were kind of concerned, at first when it came starting out, everything that was going on. So the pandemic it was kind of scary for everybody in the beginning when it came to me and my diagnosis
right,
and
right,
my health issues.
Sure.
right. Did you have any problems getting any appointments, or were you able to do any appointments remotely, like telehealth or anything?
I had a few doctors that did do some remotely because they didn't want me to be out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
My I know my heart doctor he was very professional when it came to appointments. They were able to schedule people to not to have too many people in the office. So going to appointments was very easy. It wasn't difficult.
Good.
The same thing when it comes to going to see my oncologist as well.
Okay,
So
good. Excellent. Well, on to the tips, hints, and tricks lightning round
Like a
portion
game
of the
show.
show. Yes. 10-question lightning round. Are you ready?
yeah,
Okay. Why is a positive attitude important to you?
it is important because oh, it it just makes a better day. It makes a better day, and it's just a blessing.
Good answer.
Good answer. 10 points.
All right. And how do you keep that positive attitude during COVID?
Coffee.
Oh, excellent. Excellent answer. Excellent answer.
You and Dominic are sound engineers.
Yeah, our sound engineer lives on coffee.
Yeah, I think it's in his blood.
Yeah.
Great answer. 10 points.
What is your favorite way to relax?
Music.
Music.
Oh, wonderful.
Singing, dance, or singing, playing, listening.
All of the above.
All of the above.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Mine
right.
is
Good answer.
I would say mine is singing if people are around.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'm a bathroom singer too. All
Yes.
right. 10 points. Do you have any special tricks for dealing with stressful situations?
Headphones.
What?
Oh, okay.
What?
Block out all the noise.
Oh, headphones.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
headphones.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
That's a great
good
answer. 10
Yeah,
points.
yeah. And you know what? You don't even have to be listening to anything.
No.
You can pretend you are. You
Yeah.
can pretend you are, and people think that you're busy. Oh, I can't bother her. She's busy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good answer. What do you always take with you to a doctor's office?
Headphones.
All right. We're going to put that in there. We're gonna
Great answer.
Yes.
Yes.
10 points.
What do you use as a distraction for long waits at a doctor's office?
I would have to say my phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
My
right,
phone
great.
and my charger.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think everybody has that as an
Yes.
answer.
Nowadays, yes.
Yes,
yes.
it's necessary. Great answer. 10 points.
Right. Okay, and you already asked her the one about how do they keep the thyroid in check, so we're gonna.
So we'll just say 10 points.
10 points for the thyroid check every 6 months. All right. Give us 3 of your favorite recreational pursuits.
Oh,
I'm gonna put one. No, I can't put one up there for her. I was gonna say cooking, but she loves to cook. Okay, go ahead. 3 of your favorite recreational pursuits.
I don't know if that's recreational. Yeah,
It could be.
it could be.
well, I mean, I would say cooking,
I would.
baking.
I would because you're such a good You're so good at it. I mean, when I look at those pictures,
Well, I was going to say,
I drool.
yeah, you eat with your eyes first.
Okay, that's one. Okay,
Yep.
I'll give you two more.
Walking the trails.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Good one. Good one.
And now with fall, it's
yep.
got to be nice.
Yeah, fall. Oh no, they don't have fall.
Yes.
Do you have fall in Texas?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Oh, okay,
yes.
good.
Late. It's still about 90 degrees, but it's late.
My
I know. Yeah.
And I would say art. I love to be crafty.
Oh,
Awesome.
nice. Excellent answer.
Yes,
10
10
points. All right, this is a strange one.
Mm-hmm.
What animal best reflects your personality?
My cat.
Oh,
I
Okay.
would say cat.
All right.
All right, great
Good
answer.
answer.
10 points.
10 points. What do you do to treat yourself? I did a good job. I'm going to treat myself.
I would say get my nails done.
Okay.
Yeah, nice.
Both top and bottom?
Mani
Yes.
Petty?
Okay.
Mani
right.
Petty.
All
Yes.
right.
Awesome.
10 points.
Yeah, you did an
right.
amazing job. We have a winner.
We have a winner. 100 points. Great job. Okay, Evelyn, what extra tips, hints, or advice do you have for somebody that's been recently diagnosed with a rare disease?
I would say, and one thing I learned for myself is be your own best advocate.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We've heard that
Yes.
before. Yes.
Yes. That's great
I've
advice.
learned that for myself. I've had to do that for myself.
Absolutely.
One thing I've learned in the Chiari environment is, and even in the support groups, is they will mention, I went to the doctor and I told them this, and I've seen so many different neurosurgeons and neurologists, and I've had different things until I finally found one neurosurgeon that finally to me, I can help you.
Mhm.
And he sure finally did.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So-
I absolutely appreciate that. Everybody needs to advocate for themselves.
Mhm.
Excellent answer.
And finding
Yes.
finding a surgeon is tough.
Oh, yeah.
The first surgeon
yes.
we went to, my mom had the forethought before surgery of asking, how often do you do this procedure? And he said, oh, I've never done it before, but I've seen it done once during residency.
And I said, would you want your daughter to be operated on somebody that's never seen it or that's never done it
performed
before?
the procedure?
He
So,
said, I understand.
yeah. We
I
went to someone.
won't feel bad, so we went somewhere else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, let's not be
The test subject.
a guinea pig here.
Yes. A
Or a
guinea pig.
guinea
Is,
pig.
is this the brain? Let me think. Okay. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
She doesn't know that. Yeah, which would explain a lot, but
Yeah.
Well, Evelyn, thank you ever so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time. But how can our listeners learn more about you and see your amazing journey?
They can follow me on my Instagram,
Okay.
or my TikTok. I'm getting back on my TikTok, but it's the same. It's Eve Fat to Fit 13. And I post a lot. I'm very open. I can sometimes be very verbal. I'm just very out there. You can ask your mom.
Yeah. What I think the way she puts it more politely is she is very I don't want to say the same thing either. She supports herself and she supports others through her activities.
Okay. I don't know what you
Yes.
two are like skirting around there, but
Okay.
I'll find out after the show. Okay.
But I'm the way I see it is, if I'm going through it, I know someone else out there is going through it as well.
Right.
And I know if I have to sugarcoat it, then it's not gonna be as pretty and as truthful to somebody else, because they're not
Okay.
gonna see it as, she can't relate to me.
Right.
They don't
Okay.
understand.
Okay.
Right.
And I want people to know is I understand. I know.
She's
I'm a
very
single
legitimate.
mom.
Yes.
I got left while I was in the hospital bed
I know.
with my brain cut open. And so, yes,
Yeah, that was another horror story.
Oh my gosh.
That's another podcast. We don't do that one.
Yes.
But yeah, I felt really
But
terrible when I heard that story. Yeah.
I absolutely love to relate to everybody, and I love to encourage so many people, and I'm always there to help the next person out and to let them know that there is hope, there is strength, and I want to show that, anything is possible, especially through prayer, through faith, and no matter who you believe in, no matter who you have faith in, there's always someone out there that, has something or some good out there. And like I always say, you got to take all the bad and the negative, you got to take that, because out of it, something good's going to happen.
Excellent.
Okay, great. And you've inspired Lita.
Oh, yeah.
She's going walking later today.
Yep.
And so thank you for that, too.
Yeah, I'm having surgery in, I don't know, whenever they schedule it. And they do want me to lose a little bit before the surgeries. And winter's coming here, and we don't live in Texas. We live near Chicago. Oh. So when winter hits here, we don't get out to
No,
really...
all the walking is done inside of an IKEA.
Yeah. So I've got to get my steps in now. But
just turn on the music and start dancing. That's how I do it. I cannot do any of my sandbags right now. I cannot do any weightlifting or anything.
Right, because of your heart.
Arm,
right, you just had your heart pacemaker.
So as soon as I wake up, I turn on the music and I start dancing.
Look at that. Boy, oh boy.
Yep. That is one thing they told me I wouldn't be able to do anything or nothing. And even with my brain surgery, they told me I couldn't do this, couldn't do that. And when I knew that I couldn't do any type of weights, I got to dancing again.
Awesome.
Excellent.
I mean, I'm not the best dancer, but I started moving.
Excellent.
There you go.
Movements. Yes. Well,
yes. One thing I tell everybody is tighten your core and just move.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So,
Evelyn, thank you so much for joining our show. We really appreciate it.
We do. Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you. I appreciate it. And it's an honor to be here to just share my story. I mean, it's like I tell everybody, I don't know what I'm doing here.
No,
you're inspiring.
What you're doing is you're inspiring.
Yes.
You're inspiring all of us.
Yes.
You are such an inspiration. Girl, you are an inspiration and a half. Trust me. If our listeners have any questions or comments related to today's show, they can contact us at PodcastDX@yahoo.com. Through our website, PodcastDX.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and just started getting on TikTok.
And if you have a moment to spare, please give us a review wherever you get your podcast. As always, please keep in mind that this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment, and always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment and before undertaking a new healthcare regime, and never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you've heard on this podcast.
Till next week.